The groundwater is the largest source of fresh water on the planet, excluding the polar regions and glaciers. The amount of groundwater within 800 meters from the ground surface is over 30 times the amount in all fresh water lakes and reservoirs, and about 3000 times the amount in stream channels at any one time. It is given by Raghunath 1987. The average annual rainfall of India is around 114 centimeter. Based on this average annual rainfall, Dr. K. L. Rao has estimated that the total annual rainfall over the entire country is of the order of 370 million hectare meter, and one-third of this is lost in evaporation. Of the remaining 247 million hectare meter of water, 160 million hectare meter goes as runoff, and the rest of 80 million hectare meter goes as subsoil water. Out of the 80 million hectare meter of subsoil water that seeps down annually into the soil, about 43 million hectare meter gets absorbed in the top layer, thereby contributing to the soil moisture. The balance of 37 million hectare meter is the contribution to groundwater from rainfall. About two-thirds of the total land area in the country comprises consolidated formation, 75% of this being made up of crystalline rocks and consolidated sediments. The remaining 25% being trapped. The remaining one-third of the total land area comprises semi-consolidated and unconsolidated formations like alluvial tracts. There is ample scope for development of groundwater in these areas. Groundwater province means the zone of groundwater potential. The following modules are highlighted in this lesson. Raghunath classification of groundwater province. Number 4th is the Raghunath classification of groundwater province. This classification is based on aquifer characteristic, yield and water quality. The hydraulic characteristics are given as follows. A distribution of potential areas of groundwater is shown in figure 6. First province is a spring in the Himalayan highlands. All types of rocks are present. The chief types include granites, basalts, sandstones, limestone, shales, conglomerates, slates, quartzites, gneisses, schists and marbles. Favorable conditions exist with springs forming a major part of water supply. In valleys, alluvial deposits of thickness as 30 meters, soft water with TDS means total dissolved solids 500 ppm. Second is the freshwater sediments of Kashmir Valley. The Kashmir Valley, which was a vast lake during the Pleistocene times, shows a large scale developed of fresh water sediments of lacustrine, fluvial and glacial origin, 600 meter thick Indo-Gangetic alluvium. This is a vast reservoir of fresh sweet water, coarse sand, gravels and boulders of with thickness of 3 to 60 meter. TDS less than 400 ppm. Water commonly hard, shallow and deep aquifers interconnected. The exploitation of groundwater is usually done by using spiral augers, hand boring sets, cable and rotary rigs. Number 4th is the coastal alluvium, Malabar and Coromandel coastal areas. Depth 15 to 150 meter, yield 12 to 50 cubic meter per hour, low TDS, water in tertiary aquifers associated with lignite or carbonaceous glaze, sulfurated and containing extensive patches occurs in Ramnath, Tirunelveli, Ongole, Nellore and Krishna district. Raghunathpuram and Tirunelveli, the groundwater in the unconfined aquifer is generally of poor quality with chloride greater than 1000 ppm and at some places even 3000 ppm. In the west coast areas of Kerala and Karnataka, the substratum is mostly lateritic and a good yield of groundwater may be expected. Saline water influx in response to tides is noticed at places in Goa up to distance of 25 to 40 km inland. In the upper reaches, the tidal stream shows cyclic fluctuation in salinity. The salinity flows corresponding to low tides when waters are utilizable. Number 5, Cretaceous sandstone of Kathiawar and Kutch areas. Moderately potential aquifer depth 100 to 300 meter, yield 10 to 120 cubic meter per hour. Water commonly brackish with TDS 2000 to 3000 ppm. In Gujarat, sandstone aquifers are of depth 60 to 200 meter, yield 10 to 60 cubic meter per hour. TDS 1000 to 2500 ppm. Mesozoic sandstone of the Lathi region in Rajasthan, Jaisalmer, Bikaner, Barmer. Moderately potential aquifer, depth 100 to 150 meter, yield 45 to 150 cubic meter. Water is generally brackish in saline, TDS 1000 to 5000 ppm, chloride 1000 to 500 ppm. Electrical conductivity is greater than 3000 micromoles per centimeter. Percent sodium 50 greater than 50, SAR 25 to 75. 7th is the cavernous limestone of Vindhyam rocks in Boronda and Ransangaon areas in Jodhpur district. Potential aquifers, yield 40 to 70 cubic meter per hour. Potable water, TDS less than 2000 ppm, fractured up to 150 meter. In arid zones of Rajasthan and Gujarat, excess concentration of fluoride 5 to 20 ppm has been observed, resulting in mottling of teeth. Recharge of some arid zones in Haryana and Rajasthan can be done by diverting the flood waters of Yamuna river through Saraswati and Ghagar river by making suitable connections. Number 8 is Doon Valley gravels, boulders, pebbles, gravels, sand and clay, possibly of phanglomeratic and colluvial origin. Major portion of valley is hilly sloping ground, only the central part 388 square kilometer, which is approximately 1/5 of the total area of 2090 square kilometer can be developed. Number 9, quaternary alluvium of Narmada, Purna, Tapti, Chambal and Mahanadi rivers. Thickness 75 to 150 meter. Lenses of sand and gravels. Tubewells yield 20 to 150 cubic meter per hour. Good quality water with TDS 100 to 500 ppm. Number 10, vesicular basalt in the Deccan Trap formations of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Form good aquifers. Groundwater occurs under both confined and unconfined conditions in the Satpura range and Malwa plateau. Tubewells yields in Indore, Bhopal, Raisen, Vidisha and Sagar district 10 to 40 cubic meter per hour. 11 is the carbonate rocks with solution cavities in Madhya Pradesh. In the Vindhyan, Kadapa and Bijawar region, the carbonate rocks with interconnected solution cavities and caverns form good aquifers. The limestone of Raipur, Charmuria, Kazrahat, Sindhi district, karstic areas of Chhattisgarh basin and Bagelkhand region of Madhya Pradesh yield 10 to 60 cubic meter per hour. 12 province is the Dharwarian and Bundelkhand granite region of Madhya Pradesh. Igneous and metamorphic rocks. The movement of water is mainly through joints and openings. Tubewells in Tikamgarh, Chhatarpur, Balaghat and Gwalior area yield 10 to 30 cubic meter per hour, mostly under water table conditions. The water quality in all regions of Madhya Pradesh is generally good, except in the waterlogged areas of the Chambal Valley due to seepage from canals. 13 provinces tertiary sandstone and quaternary sand to pebble beds in the Godavari Krishna interstream area form potential aquifers with artesian conditions. Near Mupavaram, the piezometric surface is 19 meter above the land surface and falls towards the coast at a gradient of 4 to 25 meter per kilometer. Aquifer thickness 13 to 18, 184 meter, T equal to 80 to 6485 meter square per day, K equal to 1 to 80 meter per day, tube yield 20 to 120 cubic meter per hour for a drawdown of 6 meter. For a similar drawdown, Rajmohendri sandstone yield 42 cubic meter per hour for a screened thickness of 20 to 140 meter. Similar yield are in the Tirupati, Golapalli and Chittalpudi sandstone. 14 is the alluvium in Palar and Kottaliar Araniyar rivers in Tamil Nadu. Form potential aquifers, water of good quality within 50 meter. Chloride less than 250 ppm. Electrical conductivity 750 to 2000 micromoles per centimeter at 25 degrees centigrade. 15 is the tertiary sediments of Kaveri Delta. The tertiary sediments in Tanjore and South Arcot districts form extensive aquifer up to 200 meter depth. Water is of good quality. Chloride less than 150 ppm. Electrical conductivity 1500 micromoles per centimeter at 25 degrees centigrade. Many of the tube wells have free flow, some exceeding 200 cubic meter per hour. In the Kaveri Delta, rocks ranging in age from Precambrian crystallines to quaternary sediments are encountered. Multiple aquifer systems are quite prevalent in a sufficiently thick sedimentary basin. The deep-seated aquifers are generally under confined conditions and there is hydraulic interconnection, means vertical leakage between aquifers as per UNDP investigations. Number 16 is the granitic gneisses and schists of Karnataka. The principal rock types of Karnataka are igneous and metamorphic granites. Gneisses and schist of Precambrian age and basalt of the Deccan Trap of Eocene to Upper Cretaceous age in the extreme northern part of the state. The yield is very low and the bore wells drilled up to depths of 30 to 75 meter yield 540 cubic meter per hour. The yield of wells in the crystalline rocks depends on the presence of weathered pockets, joints and fractures of which there may be no indication at the surface. Number 17, Upper Gondwana sandstone and the alluvial tract of Odisha form potential aquifers in the alluvial tract where the granular aquifer material occurs within 8 to 10 meter below ground level and also in the semi consolidated sedimentary sandstones weathered within 5 meter below ground level. Open wells fitted with 2 to 4 kilowatt centrifugal pump can be installed for irrigation purpose with a minimum spacing of 150 to 200 meter in a alluvial tracts. Such wells can irrigate 2 to 2.5 hectare of land in Kharif and 1 to 1.25 hectare in Rabi season. Number 18, the quaternary sediments in the deltaic tract around Digha district, Midhapur, West Bengal. These are of depth 140 meter and yield fresh water. Number 19 is the thermal and mineral springs. They are found in many parts of India, in near Bombay, Punjab, Bihar, Assam, and in the foothills of Himalayas and Kashmir. So, I have told you about the groundwater province of India proposed by Colson, Taylor, Chatterjee and Ray and the Raghunath. You have seen that groundwater province is nothing but it is a zones of groundwater potentials. So, the different rock formation of our country, they have given in a group. For them, their group, groundwater group you can say, these are given here as a groundwater province. So, you have seen that here they have classified these provinces or zones of groundwater potential according to the characteristic of aquifer, according to their yield, according to their quality of the water. So, Colson has classified into 3 regions: mountain, hills, Indo-Gangetic alluvium and the peninsula, on the basis that how the groundwater occurs in these provinces and how their abstraction is done by the means of tube wells or dug wells or groundwater is emerging as a springs. Similarly, the groundwater province described by the Taylor, they have also given attention on the aquifer, type of aquifer. What are the hydrogeologic conditions? Groundwater occur under the unconfined conditions or the confined conditions. What is the yield of the well? What is the quality of the well? Because sometimes quality is also very important. In some zones we are getting the saline water, in some zones we are getting the fresh water, in some zones we are getting the. So, this criteria they have described is very important. For example, near the coastal regions you will get the saline water. There is a saline intrusion, seawater intrusion in the coastal aquifers. So, good sweet water, fresh water becomes the saline water. So, in the coastal areas we will get the saline water, but in other areas we will get the. Now, they also depends, occurrence also depends upon the hydrologic properties of the rock formations. They are the porosity, they are the permeability, and you see that they have given the hydraulic conductivity of the aquifer and their discharge Q, rate of discharge is the Q. So, how much water a well is given, how much water a particular rock is given, particular aquifer is given. So, this yield of different rocks is different, and the groundwater conditions in different rocks are different. At some places we will get the confined water, in some places we will get the unconfined, and we will get the leaky aquifer also. So, for example, in Tamil Nadu, lignite deposits, we are getting the water under the great hydrostatic pressure. So, depending upon these conditions, they have classified the different zones of groundwater potential. So, we can say that groundwater potential zones are the groundwater province. So, in our country you have seen that the scientists Coulson, Taylor, Raghunath, Chatterjee and Ray have divided groundwater provinces, which I have told you. Thank you very much.